So I had a young DJ just the other day check in with me about reading a crowd. So like reading the room at a party. The DJ has to read the crowd, right? Well, it's a crazy thing to be asked that question because I think we take it for granted. I think we, as DJs, kind of get a natural idea for it, right? We get a natural feel for a room and we go forward. But that's not really teaching anybody how to read a room. You know what I mean? I don't think anybody sat down with us and said, okay, this is how you read a room. So let me try to break down a little bit about what I think is necessary to be able to read a crowd or read a room. Hi, it's Bill. This is Creative License. Thanks again for being so nice to my sponsors, Electro Voice, DJ Event Planner, Promo Only, Disc Jockey News, and of course my workshop, The Entertainment Experience. So the number one thing you need as a DJ to be able to read a room and to be able to build a dance floor is to have some music knowledge. You have to have a strong knowledge of music. And if you're going to only have a knowledge of music of today's newest stuff, today's biggest hits in hip hop or whatever, then you're limiting where you can play, right? You got to find a club that plays only that stuff, and that's all they ever expect. But even in those places, you get requests for things that people believe should be played there because they believe that their taste in music is exactly the kind of taste in music that the bar is doing, right? We can't just say, hey, that's not what we play here. You can, right? But then it's not very much fun because now you got somebody upset with you all the time. So number one, a knowledge of music. And if your knowledge of music is basic, only the things that you know and only things that you grew up with, then you're limiting yourself. Understanding oldies, understanding what oldies mean from the 1950s all the way through to today. Rock and roll, hip hop, country, there's lots of ways to get lots of music into an event. Now, reading a crowd in a club or a wedding are very different. Mostly because at a wedding you don't have a demographic. You know, everybody's demographic is there. So you need to be able to understand the music enough so that you can move things around. Number two, you need to understand the demographic. Look around the room. Look who's tapping their feet and then kind of get an idea of how old they are and what they're tapping their feet to. This is just in the cocktail hour. See who's bobbing their heads and things like that. But more of it's if they're moving, right? If their body is moving, then more than likely they're going to be more susceptible to come out to dance. So that's going to be helpful for you. But what you want to stay away from is trying to impress yourself or impress the DJs that you ask, how do I DJ? What's important to DJ? Oftentimes we kind of get up in our head about what we think is cool, about how to mix and whether or not there's beat mixing involved or things like that. Really, people don't come to clubs to dance. People don't come to weddings to dance. Mostly because people don't know how to dance. Okay? People jump up and down, they sweat, they sing, they yell, they cheer. That's what they do. And you don't necessarily do that to a song with a great beat. Or you don't necessarily do that because people keep moving because you've beat mixed everything. And I know a lot of DJs are going to disagree with me vehemently on this. But the biggest, baddest dance floors are usually the ones where the party just gets crazy because we went to songs that we all know, that we all have a shared experience on, we all know the words to, we sing, we slap each other in the back, we carry each other into the air. But if it's just because we move our feet to the song, and then the song changes and our beat never changes, then the energy doesn't usually change with it, right? So understanding that it's more important to create an energy from song to song to song is I think, going to be more helpful to you when it comes to reading a room and having success in a room, especially at a wedding, than even understanding what the BPMs are, what the keys are, and all that thing. It's great to know that stuff, and it's fun. It doesn't necessarily always help me. It's good to know, and I know how to do it, and it's cool to learn. Reading the room at all is about seeing what is motivating people. If all of a sudden you play a country song and then they run to the dance floor, then you've got country that's going to work for you a little bit. Honestly, when you first start out doing it, it's kind of like, okay, well, I'm going to guess. Oh, look, that worked, and I'm going to move with that. And I'm going to guess again if it didn't work. Hopefully you don't have people looking up at you with a look on their face like, oh, what is he doing? But you have to play and watch, play and watch, play and watch. And as it builds, then you will catch fire. The more you do this, the easier it'll be. And then you're going to learn how to do things like what you say when you introduce a song or what you say to get people on the dance floor on top of the songs you're bringing out will now be able to build things up. This is a big, big, big discussion. Where you want to start, though, learn your music, and then don't be afraid to guess, but pay attention. Don't just have your head in the computer. Look up, see how people are reacting, and not just the people that are running to the dance floor. I've probably gone a little long on this subject because it's a big subject, and I think we could talk a lot about it. But thanks for listening in. Tell me what you think in the comments below. This is Bill. This is Creative License. And I'll see you next week.